Hey guys, welcome back to Feather's Charm. I'm Feather and welcome to this episode of the My Bullet Journal Journey series. Today I'll be creating the spreads for August. Now before I begin, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share and follow me here on YouTube, on my social media channels, on my website and on Patreon. Your support really does help me make more content like this for you guys. Now on with the video. As you can see, we are starting by flipping through July, and honestly I'm gonna miss this spread purely because it was rather beautiful in my opinion and very purple, and who knew I liked the color purple. Now you can see there are scribbled out notes and plans and tasks throughout the entire spread of July, and that's because a lot of the plans that I had made earlier on in the month didn't quite pan out. They were rather delayed because a lot of the things that I was doing took a lot longer than I thought they would, just like the July video, which I highly recommend you check out. Okay, we are starting off with the August spread now, and as you can see I'm just clipping the pages down with these bulldog clips because the journal itself can be pretty bulky and uneven from all the scrap paper and card that I use in my spreads. Now speaking of scrap paper, these are all the sets of scrap paper and card I'll be using in this month, and as you can see the theme is very nautical, very sea, sun and sand kind of themes. It's very seaside, I should say. And I will also be using primary colors throughout this spread, so the yellow, the blue and the red, the art form of primary colors. Now I will have to say that these sets I'm using are discontinued because they were bought years ago from my favorite stores, you know the drill, Hobbycraft, Ryman and The Works. I would highly recommend though you check out your own local stationery store, bookstore or craft store, or maybe online to find similar patterned paper for your journals. Now to start off, I'm setting down the torn scraps that I've made to see how big I need them or how small, so that I still have room for the titles of the month for this cover page. We are now using the Uniball Unipin black fineliner in the 0.8 nib, and again this is going to be used for the title of the page. I am also using the Uniball Unipin black fineliner in the 0.3 nib, and this will be used for the calendar that I use on all my cover pages, just so that I can see how the overall month looks. You can also notice that the calligraphy style that I use is different from June and July, and I'll get into that a little later on. Now you all know the drill, we are using the Staedtler double-ended fiber tip colored pens for the doodles and the highlights, and I'm using these yellows and blues to complement the patterns on the scrap paper that I'm using. So all the nautical themes, all the seaside themes, I'm gonna be doodling suns, clouds and even wave patterns throughout this month. Now I didn't realize I still had some of these stickers left over. I knew I had something, but I didn't realize what I had until recently. All my stickers were hiding from me and I somehow managed to find them all, and these stickers are what I'm going to use throughout this journal spread and probably in the next couple of spreads that I will be making. Now most of these stickers I bought on Etsy. Again, I will link them in the description below. Some of them were actually freebies I got from orders that I had bought over the years, and I thought I might as well use them. So we are now going in with the dictionary cards as usual, and this time I'm using words that are based on the summer and being active kind of themes. So for example, the word equip is what I'm going to be using for this spread because I am equipping myself to create more content for you guys. So digital downloads, more Sims builds, more crafts and hobby ideas, all that jazz. Now I'm going in with the washi tapes that I have. As usual, I bought some from Ryman, I bought some from the washi tape shop, and I would highly recommend you guys check out their website to see what other washi tapes they have. I absolutely love them, and again I will be linking them in the description below. Now we are moving on to the monthly overview pages, and as you can see in the layout with this time around, I am using another different layout for this month. Again, I'm just trying something new, I'm just experimenting to see what works and what doesn't. Now I'm using the 0.5 nib in the Uniball Unipin black fine liner to create the headers for these boxes. So for my monthly goals and the things I want to take into September. So the dictionary card this time around is the word exercise, because I have not been doing enough exercise recently. What with my full-time job that I had, with the content that I'm creating, there just wasn't enough time. But now that I have time, I'm going to try to do it properly this August. I'm going to try and do it regularly, and we'll see if it does work. You guys will know when you see the September spread if I do keep up with my exercises. Now I'm using the Uniball Unipin black fine liner in the 0.1 nib for the trackers themselves. I'll be using the calendar style, as you can see here, because it's easier to keep track of rather than the pixel box style. I might go back to that style one day, but not right now. As you can see, there are also a couple of extra trackers that I've added to this page, and that's because there are a couple of habits that I want to keep track of, like my daily fruits and veg, and keeping up with my writing skills. If you know, you know. Alright, so now we've moved on to the calendar, the monthly calendar, and I didn't do a Dutch door style this time around because I found some inspiration online that made me want to try this style instead. And honestly, I do kind of like the whole separated box look. It really does make the calendar stand out on the page. However, I will say that it is pretty frustrating actually making the calendar because I sometimes forget to stop the pen when the box ends, and I have to go back over it with a white gel pen to cover the mistake. And the pen I'm using is the Uniball Signo white gel pen. I didn't showcase it because I didn't think it was something I was going to use in this spread, but the next time I do use it, I will showcase it. Now, despite what you see here, I am keeping the spread much simpler than before. I'm using my fine liners rather than the colored pens and making things look nice and bold. That's because there's a lot going on with the scrap papers. As you can see, there's a lot of patterns, so I just wanted to keep it as simple as possible to give us a break as well, rather than having a lot of different colors in this journal. But I will say I do like the blue and the yellow writing for the calendar, and with the red washi tape to highlight some of the other areas of the page, it really does come together well. we are now moving on to the hobby hub, and again I've added a couple of new hobby trackers to the list because there are a few hobbies that I'd also like to take up again and maintain. So these are primarily the sewing hobby and the doodling one. It's been a while since I last sewed something together, and I kind of wanted to break out my sewing machine again and use up some of the fabric that's sitting in my hobby bin. I am going to try and make something. I don't know what yet, but I will. And as for the doodling hobby, I want to improve my art styles just so that I can have a little bit more dynamic pages for my bullet journal as well. As you can see, we've also already moved on to the cover for the weeks, and it's the same as the cover for the month. We're using the scrapbook style for the cover page. Now you can see I am also using the word expensive for the dictionary card, and that's because it's the height of summer, guys. It's the heat, it's the peak, and everyone wants to go out and have some fun, but in this day and age it can be pretty expensive. That's why I use the card. It's to remind me to not use too much money because I don't have that much. Okay, we have moved on to the first week of August, and as you can see, I am using a similar layout to one of the weeks of July, and that's because if you've watched that video, I've labeled the boxes incorrectly, and instead of going from the left to the right as I did before, I am going from the top to the bottom, so you can see the staggered style in the days of the week. Now, I mentioned briefly earlier that I changed up the calligraphy style of my spread, and that's because, like I said in the June and July videos, I don't like using the boxier style of calligraphy. It's not natural for me, and I wanted to create a spread that was similar to my own cursive handwriting style, and that's what I did for August. That's why it's very much different from the other 2 months. Not to mention, it's actually pretty quick to create. It really flows from my pen much easier than the styles that I used in June and July. Now, as you can see, there is a little extra tidbit on the end of my week here on the right-hand page. That is my view count log, which will accompany every video that I post here on YouTube, every long form video. And it will start with the Sims build that I do post on Tuesday. If you want to watch that video, stick around. I will be posting it up then, and I would highly recommend you click the notification bell to get all the notifications of when the next video is up. So you can see we have now moved on to week number 2, and again I've changed the layout so the boxes cover the top and bottom edges of the pages, and I was inspired by some spreads from Pinterest and thought I could use this style myself and see how it would work. I chose the word food for this spread because who doesn't want to eat good food in summer? I have had cravings for food recently, and I really want to go back to some of the restaurants I've been to before, and I might just try them out again during August, but we'll see what happens because I still have a lot on my plate. Okay, we are now on to week number 3. It is the opposite of week number 2 in that the boxes are at the center part of the page rather than at the top and bottom. Again, I was inspired by other bullet journals on Pinterest. Now, I chose enlarge for week number 3 because, again, I'm still planning for new content, creating other things for you guys here on this channel and on my other platforms. So again, if you like my stuff, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and follow me. It would really help me out a lot. Now, you might have noticed I forgot to fill out the view count box for week number 2. Don't worry, I do fix it, and you can see I'm doing that here now. Okay, we are finally on to week number 4 for August, and again, I use a similar layout for it as the July spread. I probably have some form of vendetta against this layout, but don't worry, I won't use it again for a good while. This will probably be the last time I use it in this year. But nevertheless, I will say that it is a sort of mirror to the first week of August. As you can see, the first box on the left-hand side of the page is at the center of the page rather than at the outer edges. So it's a little bit of a mirror. Now you can see the final word I use in this spread is going to be engine because, guys, I'm just getting started. I have a lot of other content, a lot of other things that I want to do to this channel and my website and everything else. It's only the beginning. And just like the car, I am starting my engine. So stick around, you don't want to miss it. We are now finally onto the review page, and this time round it has not changed again. You still have the diary moment at the top and the critique boxes at the bottom. The only thing that does change is the style of the page, I guess. I will say, however, I didn't think this through. I kept the lines of the diary moment very warm, very bright, very yellow. I probably should have used the lighter blue to interchange the color, but hey, it's a warm page. It is summer and it should be warm. And you know what? It kind of ties in with the theme I have in mind for September. So subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell to keep track of when I will post that video up. You don't want to miss it. There you go, that is the August spread. So now we are just going to flip through and see how it looks overall. I honestly like this spread, even though it's a bit messy, a bit all over the place, especially with all the doodles. I didn't really think those doodles through, but it is what it is and we are going to use it. It is very eye-catching, it's very colorful, very appropriate for summer. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you have any more ideas for me, any themes you'd like me to use for my bullet journal spread, I would be happy to see if I can use that or make that for you. That's that's it from me, you guys. I will see you in the next one, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and follow me here on YouTube, on my social media channels, on my website, and on Patreon. Your support really does help me make more content like this for you guys. And as always, be kind, be creative, and be unique. I'll see you later. Feather out.